A few years ago, Blinkit, the grocery delivery platform that was formerly known as Grofers, was on its deathbed. It was the first year of the pandemic and the demand for quick commerce was at its peak. And Grofers, of course, wanted to join the bandwagon. But it did not have the money. It needed funds badly. So a year later, in June 2021, it got its shot in the arm with a $120 million infusion from Zomato. Next thing we knew, Grofers had become Blinkit and also a unicorn company. And then, in 2022, a year later, Zomato decided to go all the way in and acquired Blinkit for nearly $600 million. But it was not all smooth sailing even after that. The competition from rivals like Swiggy's Instamart and Zepto only grew more intense. And then there were the strikes from the delivery personnel and also slow revenue growth from dark stores. But somehow Blinkit managed to crack the quick commerce market and now it is leading in terms of gross merchandise value or GMV. It currently boasts of a close to 40% share in India's quick commerce market. Zomato also says that Blinkit in itself will become EBITDA level profitable very soon. And 2 days ago, Zomato said that it is going to infuse fresh capital of more than $35 million into Blinkit once again. So I thought today is a great day to revisit a previous episode of Daybreak where we dug a bit deeper to understand how this turnaround came about for Blinkit. Welcome to Daybreak, a business podcast from the Ken. I'm your host Nigda Sharma and I don't chase the news cycle. Instead, every day of the week, my colleague Rahel Philippos and I will come to you with one business story that is worth understanding and worth your time. Today is Thursday, the 13th of June. Okay, fair warning. I'm going to begin with some numbers, alright? In the third quarter of the financial year 2024, Blinkit saw a revenue of nearly 650 crore rupees. Now, for comparison, in just the quarter before that, the revenue was around 500 crore rupees. And its adjusted EBITDA loss reduced from 125 crore rupees to less than 90 crores in the last quarter. So now you know why Zomato is so confident about Blinkit reaching EBITDA level profitability by June this year. But back when Zomato decided to acquire Blinkit, a lot of people were skeptical. In fact, equity research firm JM Financial had forecasted that even Zomato's own path to profitability could get extended by a year. But fortunately, things did not quite turn out that way. And a big reason for this is, of course, quick commerce in itself. Many people had thought that 10-minute delivery would be a short-lived fad and it would fade away along with the pandemic. But they were wrong because quick commerce is thriving now. And the other reason, of course, is Zomato's magic touch. My colleague, the Ken reporter Akriti Bhalla, spoke to a bunch of analysts about Blinkit's success. Stay tuned. You see, the success of any quick commerce business depends on its dark stores or warehouses and also having the right mix of items or SKUs, which are also known as stock keeping units. Now, one of the first things that happened after Zomato took over was that Blinkit cut down on the number of dark stores and started focusing on increasing margins. When Blinkit was acquired, Blinkit had around 450 dark stores. The number came down to 362 by December that year. And then in 2023, the number of stores were back to 451. So basically, the idea was to make dark stores' unit economics work, which as it turns out, is the hardest part of this business. For example, it usually takes around 1,000 daily orders for a dark store to break even in terms of contribution margin. The stores that opened between January and March 2023 took nearly 6 months to achieve this milestone. But according to the company's letter to its shareholders, that duration came down to 2 months for the stores that launched in October. Now Blinkit says that the plan is to open 500 more stores for the top 8 to 10 cities which generate 90% of its revenue. Blinkit says that these regions are still underpenetrated. And then there are other factors, of course, like Zomato's experience and expertise in delivery. That obviously helped. But this is also the contentious part. Hang on for the next segment. A consumer insights analyst told the Ken that before Blinkit was acquired, it was paying its delivery partners 20 to 30% more for up to 5-kilometer distances than what Zomato would pay its riders for 5 to 10 kilometers. A Zomato food delivery partner now gets about 35 rupees per order, and a Blinkit rider gets about 10 to 20 rupees per order only. Swiggy also has a similar payout structure. Now, I'm sure you remember that this naturally led to protests by riders in April last year. Blinkit's operations were temporarily disrupted in Delhi then. And even just a month ago, there was a protest by Blinkit delivery partners in Delhi again against the platform's decision to shift out to a flat payout rate for their services. The income of delivery executives has also taken another hit because Blinkit has started expanding its presence with more stores in the same areas. The idea is to facilitate faster deliveries. This strategy has reduced the distance per order to around 2 kilometers from 4 to 5 kilometers, lowering riders' commission per order, which means that Blinkit is saving money, of course, and thus helping improve its unit economics. And then, of course, there is a case of having the right mix of SKUs in its warehouses. Stay tuned to find out more. For Blinkit, it was always groceries that were at the heart of the business. But once it began running the quick commerce race, it very quickly realized that it needed to cater to people's sudden cravings, like ice creams and chocolates and whatnot. So we spoke to Nikhil Chaudhary, a research analyst at Nuvama Institutional Equities. And he told us how grocery is a low-hanging fruit. So after the pivot from Grofers, Blinkit expanded on groceries in its catalog. And it also topped that up with new categories like beauty and personal care, electronics, etc. This helped increase the average order value as well as the margins. Under Zomato, Blinkit has really doubled down on this strategy. Right now, more than half of the SKUs or items in a typical dark store are personal care products and packaged foods. The other thing that Blinkit has done is also to make sure that there are repeat orders. And for that, they need to make sure that they strike the right balance between these craving-induced orders and essentials like fruits and vegetables. And for that, they need to make sure that the quality of these essentials is premium level. Plus, customers often tend to abandon the cart if they do not find that one particular item. For example, Maggi noodles. So they make sure that they maintain a large, diverse catalog. So as the quick commerce business evolves and grows, it is all about who pays attention to how much detail. Blinkit has certainly figured this out to quite an extent. So much so that Zomato believes that Blinkit is going to grow bigger than the food delivery business within 3 to 5 years.
Daybreak is produced from the newsroom of the Ken, India's first subscriber-focused business news platform. What you're listening to is just a small sample of our subscriber-only offerings. A full subscription unlocks daily long-form feature stories, newsletters, and podcast extras. To subscribe, head to theken.com and click on the red subscribe button on top of the Ken website. Today's episode was hosted by Snigdha Sharma and edited by Rajiv CN.